There's an engineer walking along the side of the road, just kind of minding his own business, taking a stroll, and he spies a frog sitting on the ground there, looks up at him, and the frog speaks to him and says, "I'm a talking frog, and guess what? If you pick me up and kiss me, I'll turn into a beautiful princess." The engineer smiles, stoops down, picks up the frog, puts it in his pocket, keeps on walking. A moment or two later, this muffled voice from inside his pocket says, "Hey, hello, if you kiss me, I'll turn into a beautiful princess. Wouldn't that be great?" The engineer stops, pulls the frog out, smiles at it, puts it back in his pocket, keeps on walking. So another couple minutes go by, and now a more frustrated voice starts to emanate from in his pocket. "All right, if you pick me up and you kiss me, I'll turn into a beautiful princess, and I will do anything you want for an entire week." That also, once again, gives the engineer pause to stop walking, pulls the frog out, looks at it, smiles, puts it back in his pocket, keeps walking. So another three or four minutes go by, and finally this frog is just really angry at this point and says, "I don't get it. What's up? I've offered to become a beautiful princess and do anything you want for an entire week. What's going on here?" So the engineer pauses, pulls the frog out and says, "Look here, I'm an engineer. I don't have time for a girlfriend, but a talking frog, now that's cool." Puts it back in his pocket, keeps walking. I thought that was a good story. And that really reflects, I think, the mentality of our engineering team. As every engineer out there is looking for their talking frog, correct? What can we get in the car that is unusual or cool or really nifty? So we're going to take you through our newest Prius family member here today and talk to you a little bit about the talking frogs.
All right, David, let me ask you a couple questions. First of all, tell me about the powertrain. How much horsepower does the engine have, and how much does the motor produce?
Well, the powertrain on the Prius C, the system net horsepower is 99. The gasoline engine puts out a little bit over 73 horsepower, and the rest of it comes from the electric battery, the high voltage battery. We actually factor in the horsepower output of the battery and the gasoline engine to get a system net. And so between the two of them, you're running at about 99 horse, so your battery's at about roughly 25 horsepower. Yeah, we did. All of our Toyota hybrid system vehicles now, all of our hybrid Synergy drive cars, including the new Prius C, run beltless accessories. So you've got an electrically driven water pump to cool the engine, you've got an electrically driven air conditioning compressor, and you also have electric power steering on all these vehicles. So you get a couple of consumer benefits. One is that it is very simple now. You don't have these components that need to be replaced later on, like hydraulic fluid and hoses for your steering system. The other thing is that these systems can also then not rob the engine of as much horsepower when they're in operation. If you think about electric power steering, it only consumes power when I turn the wheel. If not, it's simply waiting for me to do something, and it's not drawing any power. And the same thing with the air conditioning system. If I'm going to run it, it's going to run off electricity, which doesn't hurt my car's performance. I'll pull that power from the high voltage battery, but I can get that back by regen, braking, and coasting. So these electric accessories are very, very convenient and efficient. Plus, once again, less components to replace later when the Prius C does get on in its years.
And one of the things that makes the car so efficient is it's very lightweight. Did you use a lot of aluminum, carbon fiber, any of that kind of exotic materials in the car?
Yeah, not really super exotic, but we did use a lot of high-strength steel and super high-strength steel in the chassis in key areas to give us a good rigid chassis, but also save weight. And things like the rear hatch and the hood are made out of aluminum with the exclusive goal of saving weight on the car.
And tell me about the battery pack. How much wattage? Where is it located?
Yeah, battery pack on Prius C lives underneath the rear seat, which is down lower than it is in its bigger brothers like the Liftback or the Prius V. It runs the same type of battery cells that the regular Prius Liftback does. It's a nickel metal hydride battery, but it's about 2/3 the size of the Liftback, so it weighs about 68 pounds and only has 120 cells and puts out 144 volts. So it's a smaller, more compact package for the smaller, more compact vehicle.
And mileage, what does all that get you?
Well, what you get with Prius C is the best city fuel economy of any vehicle in production currently that does not have a plug. So you're going to net 53 in the city, 46 on the highway, with a combined fuel economy estimation of 50 miles per gallon.
And how about safety? It's such a tiny car. People have to be worried that, it's dangerous.
Well, it's true. With a smaller car, it definitely poses some engineering challenges to us on a safety front on how to best protect the occupants in a small package. So you've got a complement of 9 airbags in Prius C, including the usual dash-mounted, steering wheel-mounted airbags, seat side airbags on the outside portion of the seat, side curtain airbags for 2 rows, and then we have 3 new airbags. A driver's knee airbag that's going to come out here to protect my lower legs, and then also we're going to have seat cushion airbags on the 2 front seats, which under severe frontal impact will deploy, I should say, and raise the seat cushion up a little bit to help keep me in position in my seat so I'm less likely to want a submarine under my seat belt. And that just holds me in this position here and keeps me away from all the hard points in the front of the car.
Now you've obviously driven it. What's your favorite aspect of this car?
I'd say my favorite aspect of the Prius C is its nimble driving habits and maneuverable driving manner. I like the fact that it's zippy. It's good off the line. It's a great urban car. It's fun to kind of throw it around. It kind of asks to be driven fast, even though it's not a real powerful vehicle. So I think it's just a very, very fun, sporty, small package, and it should be great for the young buyer or that urban buyer out there who desires those qualities.
All right, David, this is no jackrabbit to 60, but you do say it's fast to 30.
Yeah, small hybrid synergy drive cars like the Prius C or the Prius Liftback are designed to make most of their power and especially most of their torque at low speeds, which makes them great off the line. So a small car like Prius C here, we've aimed this at the city driver. We're going to get you 0 to 30 in a hurry. You know, you can get across an intersection real fast and get where you need to go quick on that stop and go traffic where you're kind of stopping and then gunning it. So it's perfect for that kind of driving.
What's 0 to 60?
0 to 60 is 11.5 seconds.
And you know what 0 to 30 is?
I don't, but it does happen quickly. I'm sorry.
All right, thanks.
You bet.